Living systems are all around us. The environment we live in, the anatomical structures we have inside our bodies, the society we have. Everything is one form of a living system or part of it in some way. Here in this video, I'm going to explore some living systems found in a forest environment, specifically the forest area of Mount Makiling. This is John Paul M. Manalo, a BA Multimedia Studies student of UPOU, and this is my search of Mount Makiling's living systems. One of the nation's most prestigious schools is the Los Baños branch of the University of the Philippines in Laguna. But this famed school lies under a far more majestic creation, Mount Makiling. The mountain, or rather, the volcano, lies at the border of the provinces of Laguna and Batangas and is home to various forms of wildlife. Currently dormant, this landform is a haven for students, researchers, hikers, pilgrims, and nature lovers. But the real focus of this video is to search what living systems exist in the forest environment of Mount Makiling. Let's define systems first. A system, according to Donella Meadows, is an interconnected set of elements that fulfills a specific purpose or function. For it to be considered as a living system, however, there should be hierarchy levels, and the goal or function should be evident in that system too. In order to explore and search for the existing living systems in the forest, I decided to do a little trekking through the Makiling hiking trail. I started the hike on around the afternoon, giving me limited time to finish the whole trip, which is around 30 stations all in all. Thus, I was not allowed to reach the end of the trail, Peak 2. I am not really sure how far I can go, though I am aiming to at least reach Station 14, where the Rafflesia or the corpse flower can be found. This trip is quite exciting since this is the first time I would try hiking in this trail, and on my own, of all things. Even as I was still around the first station, I can't help but see how diverse the foliage is already. Hopefully, I'll be able to find more exciting things along the way. The first things that would come to your mind when you talk about forests are no doubt the trees. At around Station 5 of the trail, the trees start to become noticeably taller and thicker than most. But the ones that really captured my attention are instead the vines. The vines that you can see vary, but most of them are noticeably woody compared to the ones found in the lower land areas. If you're going to look at the trees, you can see that most of them have vines wrapped around them. This particular example has itself lumped together in a fascinating fashion and is creeping steadily from its tree and is almost near the trail's road. I believe that the vines and trees form a living system. With the primary goal of survival, the trees and the vines have each to offer to the relationship. Trees give the vines support and a way to climb up the canopy where the sunlight is, where the vines can help provide support for the smaller trees, especially during the strong winds. Some vines, however, like lianas, can be detrimental to the trees they cohabit, as they can be competitors for nutrients and for sunlight instead. From high above where the trees and vines reside, let's go down and take a peek at the life, or death, below. Trees are very large species, and once they die, can be a big problem to the forest floor if they just stay there. So who solves this problem? Enter the forest fungi. These little organisms break most of the forest litter into nutrients that can be used by other forms of life. I believe that this relationship fungi has with the rest of the plant life, especially the trees, is another living system that is focused on survival. The trees provide cover, moisture, and a food source for mycelia, while the fungi in turn helps decompose the dead forest matter into usable nutrients for the plants. Another small yet interesting species that reside in the forests are the mosses. These little green carpets may look insignificant, but have a very interesting interaction with its environment. The small plants which resemble mini forests reside in the moist areas of the forest, notably on the rocks or even on the trees themselves. But one interesting relationship they have is with the cyanobacteria living in the same areas as the moss. The moss provides shelter for the bacteria, while the latter species help fix nitrogen into the ecosystem. With the purpose of surviving together in hand, both species that form this living system both work together to achieve that goal. The tree systems don't just exist on their own, however. The trees and the vines block excessive sunlight and rainfall for the fungi and the moss, and the fungi help break down the forest litter into usable nutrients. And the moss and its cyanobacteria partners help provide nutrients for the trees and even small detritivores. Each one aids the other systems, helping ensure the collective survival of life in the forest. Forests are like museums of a huge host of interesting living things. But the more exciting knowledge is learning about their relationship to one another and how they interact to form a bigger, more complex living system. Again, this is John Paul Manalo, signing off.